Welcome to today's session on troubleshooting problems with timekeepers and rates. With the release of Collaborati 4.4, the Collaborati users can submit timekeepers along with rates. So when a timekeeper is submitted along with the rate, and if the client don't see that timekeeper for authorization, and if the timekeeper should be unassigned and reassigned to the client for authorization. There are some cases where the users are not able to unassign the timekeepers and they receive the below error message. The error message states the following timekeepers have pending rate requests or invoices and cannot be unassigned. So whenever we receive these kind of error message screenshots or error messages from the vendors, so we need to check in Collaborati what is the client authorization status of that particular timekeeper. And here is a MindTouch article which explains how to view the client authorization status of a particular timekeeper. Let us review that. So go to Clients tab on the top menu bar and select the client. And from the left blue navigation menu bar, click on the third icon from the top, which is called as Timekeepers. And whenever we search for the timekeeper, we can see whether the status is showing as pending client authorization or unauthorized or authorized. Accordingly, we need to proceed further. In our example or the scenario, the status of the timekeeper is unauthorized and still the client is not able to see the timekeeper for authorization. As we discussed earlier, if the timekeeper status is unauthorized and the vendor is trying to unassign and reassign the timekeeper, they are receiving the error stating they cannot unassign. So to investigate on that, we need to ask the vendor to review if there are any pending rate requests associated to that timekeeper. So that is the second step we need to follow. So after receiving the screenshot from the vendor, which shows there is a pending rate request and the timekeeper status is unauthorized, so we may need to work with the client by providing the below steps to them to review the list of unauthorized timekeepers from their end. And here are the instructions. They need to temporarily stop the CSM sync and click on the office or vendor name. And from that page, click on the timekeepers and then choose new timekeeper authorization. And also check the box which says view previously unauthorized timekeepers on the next step and then click next button. So the results will display the timekeepers that have been automatically or manually rejected in their system. And let us consider if the timekeeper which we are referring to is there in that system, the client may either authorize it or reject it. Let us consider the case they have authorized the timekeeper. So once they authorize the timekeeper, they can view the rate request, which is with the status pending client approval. And we can also offer the client, if they are not able to follow these instructions, we can ask Team Connect support to assist them to follow the steps. And here is a MindTouch article which explains how the client can view the previously unauthorized timekeepers. And here is the MindTouch article. These are the same steps which we discussed on that article. And once the timekeeper is authorized, as we discussed, the client should be able to view the rate request, the pending rate request from their end. And there are some support tickets on this issue. Let us review them. This is a phone call case, and the vendor has confirmed that the client is not able to see any pending rate request for approval on their end. And whenever they try to unassign and reassign the timekeeper, which the timekeeper status is unauthorized, they are not able to do it, and also they are receiving some error message. So initially this case was transferred to Team Connect support to investigate further. And the client has confirmed by sending some screenshots showing they don't see any rate request on their end for approval. And also they don't see this timekeeper for authorization in their list, pending authorization in their list. So later on, this case was moved to Collaborati support. And as we discussed in the document earlier, we have shared the steps to the client to follow how to view previously unauthorized timekeeper, um, so that they can view if the timekeeper is in that list. And we have shared the MindTouch article with them. So the client has confirmed they found the timekeeper Patrick on the list in the previously rejected timekeepers, and they have authorized him. So Collaborative support confirmed with the client that they can see the timekeeper is showing as authorized in Collaborative now, and also asked the vendor to go ahead and resubmit the rate request and see if the client can see the rate request for approval or not. And you can see the vendor has confirmed the rate request is submitted and it is pending client approval. So after few follow-ups, we got confirmation from the vendor to close this case, and this case was closed. Let us review another case, which is from the client Castleton Commodities. So this is another case where the request came from the client. The vendor, one of their vendor has assigned more than 500 timekeepers for authorization, and which was causing some problem in their Team Connect system. So we have provided the steps to the vendor how they can unassign the timekeepers in a bulk from the client Castleton Commodities. And while following the steps, the vendor has received some errors stating the following timekeepers have pending rate requests or invoices and cannot be unassigned. And the timekeeper name is Bradley Potts. And here is the screenshot showing pending client authorization, and they are not able to unassign the timekeeper. So we have asked the client to review the list of unauthorized timekeepers for Heinesen Boone LLP following the below instructions. And meanwhile, the firm has unassigned the remaining timekeepers. And we received an update from the client stating the timekeeper has been authorized now. So we confirmed with the client that the status is showing as authorized in Collaborati, and if any further assistance is required. And later on, we have closed this case. Let us move on to the next case. This is the case from Reed Smith LLP regarding the client Goldman Sachs. The timekeeper is showing as unauthorized in Collaborati, but Goldman Sachs is not able to review anything from their end. So Collaborative support has provided the steps to unassign and reassign the timekeeper, but while doing that or performing the steps, they have received an error stating cannot unassign this timekeeper from the client as it is referenced by a rate request. So we have copied the client and asked them to follow the below instructions to see if the timekeeper is there on the list of unauthorized timekeepers. And later on, we have received a response from the client stating this timekeeper is showing in the list of unauthorized timekeepers. And after a couple of days, we have received another update from the client stating the timekeeper is authorized now. And check this timekeeper if it is available in Collaborati system showing the status as authorized. So we can check if the status is showing as authorized, or we could ask the vendor to check from their end if the timekeeper status changed to authorized. So we have sent a screenshot to confirm the same to the client and the vendor. The timekeeper status is showing as authorized, like this. And the vendor has confirmed, thanks, all this should resolve our issue now, and we have closed this case. So on most of the cases, the clients are able to follow the steps which are provided by Collaborative support. But if they are not able to follow, like if they are new to Team Connect system and they don't know how to follow the steps, we can ask Team Connect support, like by scheduling a call with the client and Team Connect support so that they can assess the client further on that issue to review the previously unauthorized timekeepers. In the most recent times, there is another issue where we have observed this. The timekeeper status is authorized, but the rate request is struck in pending client retrieval status in Collaborati. So on this case, we might need to join a call or get or request the logs from the client and work with the client and Team Connect support to review them to see or to know why the rate request is not getting synchronized to the client system. Let us review the case first. So this is the case, and this was a chat case, and Collaborative support has joined a meeting with the vendor to confirm like when the rate request was submitted and why it was struck with pending client retrieval status. And Collaborative support has requested the logs from the client to review with Team Connect support. And Collaborative support confirmed it seems to be some CSM sync regarding the rate request, and Goldman Sachs technical team is working with Team Connect support to investigate on that. And after reviewing the logs with Team Connect support and Goldman Sachs team, Collaborative support has sent an email stating the solution would be to find who the timekeeper on the rate request and then make sure the GUID for the timekeeper in Team Connect environment matches. So on that rate request, it was noticed the timekeeper was Kristen Rodger, and the vendor or office is Sullivan and Cromwell, London. And this is the timekeeper ID, and this is the GUID from Collaborati database. So we need to check with the client if the GUID of this timekeeper is same, or if it matches with the GUID for the timekeeper in Team Connect system or not. So we have sent an email to the client, and the client has sent a screenshot showing these are the GUIDs of this timekeeper for different offices. And here we need to check for the London office, Sullivan and Cromwell, London. And after verifying, we came to know that the GUID of the timekeeper is not same as Collaborati and Team Connect. So, Collaborative support sent an email to the client stating the timekeeper for London needs to be corrected, and the correct GUID is this one as per Collaborative database. And the GUID for that particular timekeeper was updated. So after reviewing, there are still more more rate requests that were struck in pending client retrieval status. So we have requested the logs to review them as well. And the client requested, instead of doing the same work manually, is there any script or DB script to perform a bulk update of the Timekeeper GUID? And in order to assess that, this case was transferred to Team Connect support on that issue. And I would suggest you to review this case, as there are so many back and forth communication between the client, Team Connect support, and Collaborati support. So whenever you see a timekeeper is authorized but the rate request is in struck in pending client retrieval status, ask the client to help with the logs to review. And also please reach out to Tracy to get the GUID, and also make sure that the GUID of Timekeeper is matching in Collaborati and the Team Connect system. And that concludes our troubleshooting session on Timekeeper with rates. Thank you.